All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. This is the hour where we tell you everything that's going on around you and beyond. We begin in the corridors of justice, where the divorce proceedings pitting former Chief of Staff in the Deputy President's office, Marrianne Kitany, against Meru Senator Mithika Linturi began yesterday, but it's continuing right now as we speak. Exactly. So Kitany is testifying, or rather yesterday testified against Linturi, stating that their relationship began back in 2014. Those are live images on your screens. And after a plot to have Linturi stopped from tabling a motion to impeach a cabinet secretary. This is, of course, in 2014 when they met. Let's listen in live from the Limani courts.
What any other thing did you do that we have confirmed? According to you, the house was finished. Is there anything else about that house?
So the construction of the house, all the subcontractors, I am the one who identified all of them. I got them from Nairobi because I was still very new in Meru. So I didn't know quite many people, and a few of the works were done locally. Like a lot of labor works was done locally, but the main subcontractors, I got them from Nairobi, and they did the construction. So they used to rent houses there and live there, and the construction, as I said, took from March to September of 2016.
That is when the house was completed.
That's when the house was completed. And we were in a rush to complete the house in September because Mithika Linturi had invited the Deputy President then to come, still the Deputy President, to come and open the house. It was around August, September of 2016.
All right. Was this house ever opened?
The Deputy President did not make it to come at that time because he was held in another engagement, but he sent Honorable Aden Duale to come. So Aden Duale is the one who opened the house.
The house was opened?
Yeah.
Were you present when your house was being opened?
Yes, I was.
Was Mithika Linturi present when the house was being opened?
Yes, he was.
And therefore, it's your evidence that your home was officially open. Thank you. Were your children, all the children present?
The house was opened when schools were open, so the children were not there.
Thank you. This is now your home in Meru.
Yes.
Did you do anything again in Meru?
The other thing I did was to get furnishings and furnitures from Dubai.
Yes.
So in June of 2016, we traveled with Mithika Linturi to Dubai to buy the household goods and fittings. These goods arrived, after we bought them, they had to come by ship because they were voluminous. The goods arrived in August of 2016, and they were shipped all the way to Meru. I was there at the time of offloading because I needed them to show the people who are putting the house together where these things were to be put. The fittings here are things like the chandeliers, the electrical fittings, the generators, and all those kind of things. So all those things were fitted. They were offloaded. We fitted all of them. And I think we were done with the house after the fittings and the furniture, including the beddings, beds,
the totality of the furniture came from Dubai?
Yes.
Who paid for this?
I paid for it.
You paid for it?
There's a portion he paid. But a majority of it I paid.
Roughly what was the cost of what the money you pumped?
It is within the 36 million. So
it is within the 36 is plus the furnishing.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much.
But it's the evidence that both of you contributed in the furnishing of your home.
Yes.
And in the construction of your home in Meru.
For the construction, I did the majority of it. The
majority?
Yes.
We are not in division of property. We are only saying you are part and parcel of the home.
Yes.
Is there any other thing that you did in Meru?
So, outside that, on the house, the construction of the house, no. Other than that, we got water locally.
All right, let me ask this thing.
Yes.
When this house is being built, did you have a chance to see your boyfriend's parents?
I interacted with them frequently because at the time we were building the Meru house, I also suggested to Mithika Linturi that we also build his parents' house.
I'm just wondering that the way it is framed.
Let me rephrase it. Sorry.
Is targeted to.
Let me rephrase it. Were you ever introduced to the parents of Mithika Linturi officially?
Yes, I was introduced to them officially.
Who are you introduced to?
I was introduced to his father and his mother.
Who is the father?
The father is Peter Linturi.
Peter Linturi. And who?
The mother is Julia Linturi.
You were introduced.
Yes.
You were introduced as who?
I was introduced as the wife of Mithika Linturi.
As a wife.
Yes.
Mithika Linturi.
Yes.
So these people you are introduced to are supposed to be who to you?
They are supposed to be my parents in law.
Your father and mother-in-law.
Yes.
Thank you. They were supposed to be. Did they cease being?
No, because at the time I was introduced to them, they were told I am the daughter-in-law. And after we officially got married to him, they were now officially my parents-in-law.
We'll deal with the ceremonies of marriage ceremonies.
Yeah.
After you have finished constructing your home in Meru, did you come back to do any courtship again?
As we were going on with the construction of the house in Meru, remember he's a politician who was interacting with his constituents. And at the same time, he had work in Nairobi and we had the company running. Children coming home from school and the courtship was going on. And within the same year, early that year is when we got married.
Leave the marriage.
Okay.
Did you participate in politics?
Yes, I did.
Of Meru?
Yes, I did.
Tell the court.
So in 2015, when we were preparing to do the house in Meru, I remember having functions in him having functions in his constituency, and a lot of the functions used to be done. The preparations of those functions used to be done at our home in Meru. I would post the people. He would introduce me to those people as his wife. And there are a few of those functions that I actually attended.
Specifically, can you remember the political functions you attended?
Church functions.
Where?
I attended with him. There's a church called Adi.
Adi.
Yes, that is where his parents go to church.
Yes.
And I was introduced in that church as his wife.
Yes.
There's a church in Maua that we went. And there's a church just near our home, Amwamba, that he sent me to go and represent him. Because he was unable to attend that meeting, he had to go to another one.
So is your evidence that you were officially introduced?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we move back to Runda.
Yes.
You are in the leased house.
Yes.
The leased house for 1 year.
Yes.
Are you still in that house?
Yes, so we were still in that house, and if you remember, I had said we were going to do a construction for a house in Meru and the house in Runda. So around June, we didn't have land in Runda yet. So we moved into Runda in August, and in August, we were able to see a few properties. No, sorry, not August, before August, that's before we went to Runda. Between June and August, we were able to see a few properties. we settled on a property, which is where the current house is, and he then went ahead to do the purchases from monies that were from the company.
So, you decided to build a home in Meru. Now you have decided to build a home in Runda?
Yes.
That's the question I'm asking.
Yes.
How many people decided to build a home in Runda?
Two of us, me and Mithika Linturi.
So there was concurrence?
Yes.
Did the two of you identify the property?
Yes, we did.
The two of you?
Yes, we did.
Was the property purchased for
Yes.
the sole purpose of saying you are building a home?
Yes, it was.
Was the home built?
Yes, it was.
Who funded the building of that home?
Two people, his company and myself.
Mithika's company funded
Yes.
the home and yourself.
Yes.
Could you know the percentage of your contribution to the building of the home? In Runda, in monetary figures?
In monetary figures, my cash that I put in there is about 30 million shillings.
30 million shillings.
Yes.
Very well. This time, you are not a wife, you are a girlfriend.
No. By the time the house was built, I was a wife.
Let us finish it, then we go to the marriage. By the time the house is being built, you are a wife.
Yes, I was.
We'll deal with the transformation from a girlfriend. So you pumped in 30 million.
Yes.
What amount of money did your husband pump into this house?
Directly as himself, no, but as a company which he owned together with my relatives, they pumped in 40 plus 50, 80 million.
80?
Yes. 80 million.
80 million. Nane ama 80?
80.
80. So from your husband and the company you say they owned with your relatives,
Yes.
they pumped in 80 million.
Yeah.
Very well. Did that dream come to a reality?
Yeah, we finished the house and we moved into the house on the 9th of December 2017.
So on 9th of December 2017, you moved to your new home.
Yes.
Who and who moved into the new home?
I will need to describe how the house was built, but basically the people who moved into the new home was myself, Mithika Linturi, Brother Mithika, first-born daughter, Arnold Kikuri, Seth Kimathi, Sharon Chepneno, Ivy Chepkemoi, and Dylan Linturi.
All the children moved
All the children.
to their home and
Yes.
their parents.
Yes.
Thank you. At the time of construction, what was the role of your husband in the construction of this home?
Let's start with the architectural designs again.
Yes.
Because that is where the house starts. So
Once again, a caution, knowing that
That's I'm only asking the role. I don't want us to deal with the property at all.
because it's
What role did he do? Just a general perspective.
So at the time of the architectural designs, just like the way we did for the Meru house, the architectural designs were drawn. They were brought to me, and I took them to him. We discussed, we looked at them, discussed.
So both of you agreed on the architectural design.
Yes.
That is a general statement.
Yes, we did.
The architectural designs are ready.
So when the architectural designs were ready, we also had to agree on how the house was going to be constructed. We agreed on the technology that was going to be used.
Both of you agreed on
The technology.
all the issues.
Yes. And we started the construction. So I was the one hiring the subcontractors and supervising the works. And he would come once in a while to check progress of the works.
Both of you participated in building your home?
Yes.
That is all the court wants to know?
Yes.
Thank you. The home is ready. You have moved in, and him and the children?
Yes.
True?
Yes.
For a while. Now, after the home is ready, is there any issue about courtship before we go to marriage that you have left out?
Unless if I remember as we go, then I will take you back.
Your boyfriend at Sopa Lodge has courted you, and you are now ready and ripe for marriage.
Yes.
How was the decision for you to be a wife done?
In February of 2016.
February 2016.
Yes. We are in Meru one evening together with his friends.
Yes.
And the friends here are okay, let me just mention the names because they are not in this.
They are not in this matter.
But together with his friends, we all talked about formalizing our engagement.
Yes.
That proposition actually came from Mithika himself.
Yes.
And he said he wanted to go to my home immediately. So we looked at the timings and the diary, and the earliest that could have happened was in April during the Easter holiday, because it was a longer holiday. And since Nandi is far, we needed to get people from Meru, get them prepared to go to Nandi. So we needed more days so that they can be able to travel, take rest, and go to and do the ceremony. So the idea and the date was mooted in February of 2016.
That is when the Englishmen say the proposal was done.
Yes.
Is that true? Thank you. Then is it your evidence that you agreed that he and his people come to your home?
It is a tradition, and of course he knew he had to come to Nandi. That is the reason they chose the Easter holiday, because of traveling to Nandi.
Was it agreed that by both you and him that based on the customs he must come to Nandi? That's what you're telling this boy?
Yes, but the date was to be confirmed after I talked to my parents, because they were going to be our hosts.
Very well.
Yeah.
Now the idea has been mooted. What happened after that?
After that, I talked to my siblings first, notably Dorothy and Billy, and then I talked to my mom. My mother then, after discussions, agreed on the date. He already knew about Mithika earlier than that. So when we talked about this date, she was in agreement with it, but she needed to consult her relatives as well, who don't live with us in Nandi, because my relatives live in Kericho.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All this time of courtship, were you ever told that Mithika was available to marry?
All the time of courtship, we talked about his marriages, because I had these children from the different marriages. So when I was introduced to these children, the first child, I was told they parted with the mother a long time ago.
Who told you that?
Mithika Linturi.
Yes.
And the second child, I was also told they parted with the mother. And for the third child, I was also given the same information, that they parted with the mother. And that is the reason why they were even fighting for custody of that child.
Were you ever told that your boyfriend was married?
He himself said he was married, and he had been married to all these women, not specifically one marriage.
Yes.
So he mentioned the first wife, who was the mother of the first child, and they parted ways. He went into the second marriage, and they parted ways. And he went into this third marriage, they parted ways. Yeah, and I was now being proposed to be a wife.
I don't know if the defense will be objecting for us asking the names of those married women, because part of the evidence we have is they are saying that.
The names can be given, Your Honor, but nothing salacious about their character.
No, that is not about. Who were you told was Mithika's first wife?
Mithika's first wife was called Susan Bashiri Kimani.
Susan Bashiri Kimani. What were you told about her in terms of the existence of the marriage? Nothing outside that. Was she still a wife by the time you were being told about her?
No, that she was no longer a wife.
She was no longer a wife. The second wife you were told is who?
Mercy Kaimenyi Pinkin.
Mercy Kaimenyi?
Pinkin.
The?
Pinkin.
Pinkin.
Tinki.
As the second wife?
Yes.
T-H?
Nki.
What were you told about Mercy?
That they had divorced.
She had been divorced.
Yes.
The third wife?
The third wife was Helen Mumbi Kariuki.
Helen Mumbi
Kariuki.
What were you told about Helen Mumbi Kariuki?
That they had also divorced.
That they had also divorced. Who told you this information?
I was told this information by Mithika Linturi himself.
He told me that. So you are to be number
4.
How wife number 4? Then you are told after the proposal you linked up with your parents.
Yes.
What happened when you told your parents that your boyfriend wants to be officially introduced?
So I told my mom, and my mother said he would confirm to me, he would tell me the availability of that date and whether that was in agreement with everybody else after she talks to my uncles and aunties who live in Kericho. So she then made a phone call to them.
Just proceed.
She made a phone call to them, and they agreed to have a meeting, a physical meeting, to have that, to do that discussion. So my mother traveled from Nandi to Kericho.
Yes.
My mother traveled from Nandi to Kericho. I can't remember the exact dates, but it was around March of 2018. March of 2016, sorry, March of 2016. So they had a meeting, and one of my uncles was tasked to ask me a few questions, and they called me, or my uncle called me and asked me the questions they were asking were whether this gentleman I was getting married to was available for marriage. That was one of the questions they asked. The other question...
They asked who?
Me.
They asked you whether Mithika is available to marry.
Yes.
So in law, they were asking you if I can... They were asking you whether he has the capacity to marry.
Yes.
Thank you. What was your answer?
My answer was that he had said he's available, he's divorced. He had said he was divorced to the woman he was married to, and therefore he was available. Yeah.
Were you ever shown any divorce papers for all these 3 women?
What he gave me around 2015, before our proposal in 2016, was divorce proceedings that he had initiated. And he gave me the copy and told me to keep it because he had already started the process. He was concluding. That was around 2015, before we moved to Runda. That's when he gave me those divorce proceedings. So in 2016, he was confirming that February when we had that meeting. He was confirming he was divorced and ready for marriage.
In 2015, you are given a document by Mithika Linturi saying that a divorce proceeding had been filed.
Yes.
When I'll be referring to the bundle, our bundle of documents marked as MJK11. It's in the bundle of documents and council have it. I'll show you the document. You confirm that that is the document that you are shown. Is that the document that you are shown?
Yes, it's the document I was shown.
Is that the document you are given?
Yes, it's the document.
Kindly describe the document you are given to the court.
The document I was given, as far as is the Republic of Kenya in the High Court of Kenya at Nairobi, divorce course number 128, written by hand of 2005.
Slowly.
Between Franklin.
It is petition divorce course number
128 of 2005.
Yes. Between who and who?
The 128 is written by hand. Between Franklin Mithika.
As who?
Who is the petitioner.
Yes.
Versus Mercy Kaimeni.
Yes.
Who is the respondent.
Yes.
And it was to the Honorable Judge, High Court of Kenya, Nairobi, petition. Next to it,
it was received in the High Court registry. Give the details.
It was received in the High Court of Kenya, probate divorce, on 19th of August 2005, and the stamp still reads Civil Appeals Registry, Nairobi.
Thank you. Go back and see what other stamp are you seeing there?
The other stamp I see here is a forensic document examiner, CID.
We did that.
Yes.
Who? It was drawn by who?
This petition was drawn and filed by Koome and Mesa Advocates. Ajib House, first floor.
Those.
Koome and Mesa Advocates. Ajib House, first floor. Entrance A, Haile Selassie Avenue. Of P.O. Box 70746, Nairobi, Kenya.
It was supposed to be served to who?
To be served upon Mercy Kaimeni, Washington, D.C., USA.
Wow. It was dated when?
It was dated at Nairobi this 18th day of August 2005.
Who is appearing as the petitioner?
At the bottom here, the petitioner is Franklin Mithika, the written petitioner.
Is there any initial or signature in that petition?
There is, I believe, is a signature.
Of that person called who?
Franklin Mithika.
Who, according to you, is Mercy Kaimeni?
Mercy Kaimeni, as per what I knew, was the second wife of Franklin Mithika.
That, according to you, was the second wife. What were you told about second wife, Mercy Kitany?
The second wife was being divorced through court process because he had contracted a Christian marriage with her.
Forward. So according to the knowledge you are given, Mercy Kitany was divorced.
Yes.
And you were given this document by who?
Franklin Mithika.
Himself. You have had a chance to look at their response.
Yes.
And I put it to you, they are saying Mercy Kitany is still the wife. What is your reaction?
So I am not aware of that because what I am aware is that Mercy Kitany was divorced.
Mercy Kitany was divorced. That is the information that you are told.
Yes.
So, out of this document, according to you, you agreed to be a wife number 4. Not wife number 4, wife number 1, but in the sequence of 3 divorced people, you became number 1.
Yes.
Thank you. Out of the basis of this document.
Yes.
Who was in possession of this document? Is it you?
Mithika Linturi gave the document.
You received this document filed by one Mithika Linturi.
Yes.
Have you ever tried to verify the authenticity of this document?
When I received their response to my petition, and there was a claim that I was in possession of a forged document.
Yes.
I decided to seek the assistance of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, who are the people who can be able to verify handwritten documents forensically, and they did a reply confirming that the signature appended on that particular document belonged to Mithika Linturi.
All right. Let us go slowly. You have been given this document, the petition. Can you remember around what time?
In 2015, I can't remember exact, but before we moved to Runda.
Were you married at the time you were given this document?
No, we were still working.
You are still with girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yes.
When were you brought to the reality or to the claim that Mithika Linturi was and is married to Mercy Kitany? When did this come to your knowledge?
This should have been, I think, January of 2019, this year.
January 2019.
Yes.
When did she come to learn that Mithika Linturi is still married to Mercy Kitany? When did you learn that?
Around January of 2019.
What had happened that this information was now given to you?
In December of 2018, I filed for a divorce.
Thank you.
And
Go slow.
Okay. So I filed for a divorce in Meru. And in the reply to that divorce,
Hold on.
I was
in 2018,
yes.
you filed for a divorce in Meru.
Yes.
We'll give you the petition that led to that. So the petition in Meru, who was the petitioner?
I was the petitioner.
Yes.
And Mithika Linturi was the respondent.
Who were you intending to divorce?
Mithika Linturi.
What was his response in terms of mercy?
The response I got is that he cannot divorce me because he's married to one Mercy Kitany.
Kindly read the particulars of the divorce you filed in Meru.
So, Republic of Kenya, in the Chief Magistrate's Court at Meru, divorce. I'm reading what was there before we...
Yeah, the original petition.
So divorce cause number 26 of 2018.
That is the most important question. That you filed a divorce cause number 26 of 2018. Before the Chief Magistrate's Court in Meru. In their response, that is where you say they responded that Mithika Linturi was officially married to Mercy Kitany.
Yes.
Then what did you do to verify that marriage? You said you sent the document to the National Police Service.
In their response, they mentioned, or in his response, he mentioned that the divorce proceedings, the divorce petition I had attached as part of the documentations I had was a forgery, and he accused me of forging the document. So I decided to take the document to a forensic expert at the DCI to verify that signature, so that it can be confirmed whether I could have generated the document or it actually came from him.
And I will be referring to MJK 14, 13 and 14 in the list of banks. This is, what is this document that we are talking about?
So the document is a document from the National Police Service, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. It has a serial number.
What is the serial number?
CID/IB.
Slowly. Yes?
SEC/VOL/DOIB/159.
Of which date?
Of 1st April of 2019.
What is the content of the letter?
So the reference is forgery claims against Marrianne Kitany.
Who wrote it? Is a document addressed to whom?
The document is addressed to Musyoki Mugaka and Company Advocates, Uganda House, P.O. Box 57180-00200, Nairobi.
What is the content of that document?
So the reference first is forgery claims against Marrianne Kitany, in bracket your client, and it says your letter referenced DMO/MJK/1/19 and dated 1st March 2019 is hereby acknowledged and received. Kindly note that the disputed signatures that were subjected to forensic examination and a report referenced CID/ORG/8/3/1/297/2019 is hereby submitted to you. Your original documents are also enclosed. Signed, John N. Kariuki, HSC, Co-Director of Criminal Investigations.
That is the person forwarding the report. Yes. John Kariuki, what is his position in the National Police Service? In that you said, what is this position?
Yeah, just say for director
For director of
investigations.
Let us go to the report.
Then it has enclosure.
The enclosure.
So the enclosure is the Kenya Police Service.
Just give the number, the court will have a look at it.
Okay, let me read it.
Yes.
The Kenya Police Service, Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Forensic Document Examiner's Report. Our reference, CID, stroke ORG, stroke 8, stroke 3, stroke 1, stroke 297, stroke 2019, then SCU-DCI.
Read to the court what the report says about the document presented. We'll be more interested about, you read it.
So, this is statement of qualifications. Do I read the whole report? I can do that. That's fine.
Unless the defense opposes that you cannot produce it.
Okay, so forensic document examiner's report.
You're not the only person who can produce this document in evidence. Is its author. He's the only person who can come here, we'll take him on cross-examination. When that time comes, we'll ask why the cover letter is by a different person, the report is by a different person. But in short, we'll ask, the most this witness can tell you is that they received this document. Then when we get there, we'll deal with the author.
Mark it.
Yes, it will be marked.
We can't mark it as PMFR 1, 2. And we shall be seeking for summons, not only to this person, plus other government people. It's part of our petition that they come and produce this document. We'll do that later. So, there is a report from the Director of Criminal Investigation. According to you, you were told that Mercy was divorced.
Yes.
According to the documents that have been presented, what is your position now, according to Mercy?
My position is as per what I was told.
What were you told?
Mercy was divorced.
And according to the police, the signature in that petition that you are given belonged to who?
The signature belongs to Franklin Mithika Linturi.
So was the document that was given to you genuine?
Yes, it was a genuine document.
I'm going to object to that question because there are two issues here. This witness cannot say whether that document is genuine. The most she can say is what she said earlier, that she was advised by DCI. The signature came from the rest of it. It will deal when the DCI comes. But what she says, she concludes that it was genuine. The risk we run is to conclude that the divorce petition 128 was actually a genuine divorce petition because the High Court has already written, it's on record, that there was no such petition. And the High Court is just across the road.
My question is simple. Was the document that you are given the basis of you accepting to be married?
No, it was not.
The document,
So the first document.
the first document,
Yes,
leave
yes.
the DCI document.
Yes.
Me, I'm talking about the first document, petition number 1.
128 of 2005.
And out of it, you made a decision to be married.
Yes, that he was available and he could get married.
Thank you. That's all I need. The rest, the DCI will explain. So, you have now told your parents that your dear boyfriend is available. What arrangements were done for the marriage to be done now?
So my uncle calls me My uncle calls me. The uncle is someone called Andrew Chepkwony. He calls me to talk to me about this marriage that I'd like to, or this proposal that is on the table, and asked me whether this gentleman is divorced.
Who is the uncle?
He is a brother to my father.
What is his name?
Andrew Chepkwony.
Andrew Chepkwony.
Yeah, and he is our father figure because my father passed on in the year 2000.
Sorry for that. Your father, may he rest in peace. He passed on when?
In the year 2000.
What was the name of your father?
Frederick Clarence Kitany.
So who took over the role of your father?
The father figure in the family is Andrew Chepkwony.
Andrew Chepkwony. As you stand there, he's the father.
Yes.
He's your father.
Yes.
So what did, after you got this information, who did you inform?
I informed my mother, and my mother informed
Andrew.
the rest of the family, including Andrew. And Andrew was then to call me to verify the information.
Did Andrew ever verify this information from you?
Yes, he did, and asked me a couple of questions.
What questions?
The first question was whether Mithika Linturi was divorced or still married, which I confirmed he was divorced.
You confirmed he was divorced?
Yes. And the second question was whether Mithika Linturi, whether I am for sure certain about my relationship with him, that it is a genuine love relationship or he's coming for your money. And I, at that time, told him no, and I'm certain that it's a genuine love relationship.
You confirmed that this is a genuine love transaction?
Yes.
What other question were you put across by your father?
So then the third question is, so your mother tells us that you want to come around April 2016. Are you sure about it? Do you actually want us to go ahead with this ceremony? And I said yes, I'm certain.
You confirmed them to start the ceremony?
Yes.
What followed after that?
So after that, the preparations were done.
Preparations started.
Yes, and since
This was on Valentine or Easter?
it was, so when we talked with my uncle to around March of 2016, and the preparation started, and the functions were, the ceremony was going to be held in Nandi.
In Nandi.
That is where we decided.
In which festive season?
Easter.
On Easter.
Yes.
Thank you. So what preparations were done?
So my mother then engaged the villagers to tell them about this ceremony that was going to happen over Easter, gave them the date, and as is customary when functions like those happen in people's homes, the villagers gather in those homes and help with the preparation, so how to receive the guests.
I'm specific about what the villagers did to your function, not what they do generally.
So
what did the villagers do to your function?
So they met, organized how many people would come, made a few contributions of, some say they'll bring potatoes, other people they'll bring onions, tomatoes, and they all brought all those items for the food to be prepared for the guests.
Is there evidence that the community mobilized itself?
Yes.
In terms of materials, food, and everything?
Yes.
For your function?
Yes.
And the Mithika?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's proceed.
So my relatives, on the other hand, from Kericho, also mobilized themselves to hire a vehicle to come from Kericho to Nandi.
Who are these relatives you are claiming come from Kericho?
So these are the brothers and sisters to my father, and the brothers and sisters to my mother.
They come from Kericho.
They come from Kericho.
Thank you. Was the date set?
Yes, the date was set for 16th of April.
16th of April.
2016.
Was this date set and given to Mithika?
The date was set by my parents.
Yes.
When they were sitting together, and they gave me the date, and I gave the same date to Mithika Linturi. He confirmed the date, and we also started preparations together with him on the people coming to Nandi and how they would get themselves to Nandi, because they didn't know the way, so they needed to be shown the place.
Who are these people who don't know Nandi?
They know Nandi, but they don't know my
Who are these?
This is Mithika and his entourage.
So these are people from the Jurijeke nation, not Kericho?
No.
Oh, yes. No. Okay. Yes. So Mithika's people, you are saying this is the first time they are coming to Nandi?
Yes.
They need to be given directions.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking.
So we identified my brother-in-law, Billy Odero Onyango,
Yes.
to be the one directing them to the point.
So Billy Odero, your brother-in-law, was appointed to be the coordinator of the troop coming from Meru.
Yes, and give them directions.
And give them directions up to where they arrive.
Where they arrive, yes.
On which day are they arriving?
They left Nairobi on the 15th of April.
We will start from Meru.
But they arrived on 16th of April.
The function is on 16th. So you have agreed with your boyfriend that the people are coming from Meru.
Yes.
All right. When did they leave Meru to this function?
Some were in Meru, some were in Nairobi. So some left Meru they all left both Nairobi and Meru on the 15th of April 2016. And they all met in Nakuru. They slept in Nakuru.
Where did they sleep in Nakuru?
I think it was a hotel called Hotel Kapi.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
So they slept in Nakuru together with my brother-in-law.
With that brother-in-law called Bill?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And the following day on the 16th, they left Nakuru for Nandi, my home village, that is Kapchemosin.
Kapchemosin.
Kapchemosin village. A boy location. Aldai constituency, Nandi South.
Aldai constituency, Nandi South.
Yes. And the instructions were that they were to arrive around 11 a.m.
Those were the instructions.
Yes. So they arrived, I myself and my siblings, together with my uncles who are at home already.
Let's deal with the Meru.
Yes.
I'll deal with the Nandis.
Okay.
So they were to arrive at 11
a.m.
Did they arrive?
They arrived at midday.
They arrived at midday. Did you see the people arrive?
Yes, they came in 8 vehicles.
They came in 8 vehicles.
Yes.
How many people, to the best of your recollection, arrived from Meru?
To the best of my recollection, I think there were about 19 people from Meru.
There were 19 people.
Yes.
Do you know them?
Yes, I do.
Give the names of the people who left and came to your compound from Meru.
Okay. The leader of the team was a gentleman called Rufus Miriti.
Rufus Miriti.
Yeah, and he came with his wife, Irene Miriti.
What a relationship to Mithika Linturi?
I believe they were family friends.
Family. So Rufus and his wife.
Yes.
Do you know the name of the wife?
Irene Miriti.
Irene Miriti. Those are 2. Number 3?
There was someone called Tongai Mitu.
Tongai Mitu.
Yes. Together with his wife.
Do you know the name of the wife?
just no Mrs.
Mrs. So those are 4. Who else appeared? Douglas Kailanya.
Together with his wife as well.
Together with his wife.
The next one is Madeta. I'm just trying to remember the names are disappearing from my head. Someone called Madeta.
Madeta.
Together with his wife.
Yes.
Then the state, if the defense will not object, could we give her to refresh?
That's okay.
As we are getting that.
Did in this group was there Mithika's father?
No, Mithika's father was not there, and neither was his father.
What is the explanation, the absence of the father?
When I talked to Mithika, when we were doing the preparations, why he was not inviting his parents, he mentioned to me that in the Meru tradition, once a man had already married somebody else and the parents had gone to that home, when he's engaging in a second, third, fourth, and any other marriage, the parents cannot therefore visit that home. That is the explanation he gave.
So the absence of the father and mother was customary.
Yes.
Under the Meru customs. And the Mithika comes from which part of Meru customs?
He comes from the Igembe.
So the Igembe customs dictate that he could not bring his father. Thank you. Who represented his father? Rufus Miriti stood in as the father for Mithika Linturi.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's stop there. It's being sought. Your people on the 16th, what arrangements have you made for the meals?
So it was not my arrangement. It was the arrangement of my relatives, because this function is the moment I mentioned the date and that I was ready for this function, my parents and my relatives and the neighbors took charge.
All right, that is now where I'm going.
Yeah, so
tell us the structural arrangement for this function under the Nandi customs.
So I will tell you what happened.
Yes.
And my uncles, my mother, and a few neighbors waited in the house. So we were all waiting outside until when we were now told they are 5 minutes away.
So we are saying, which people assembled for this function from your place?
From my home were my uncles, aunties.
Them.
There was Andrew Chipcoin.
Who is he?
My father.
The real father, the one representing your father.
Representing.
And
yes.
He was there.
He was there.
Who else was there?
Zablon Cherios.
Who is that to you?
Zablon Cherios is a brother to my mother.
A brother to your mother. That's your maternal uncle.
Maternal uncle.
Who else was there?
Andrew Chipcoin.
Who else was there again?
John Langat.
John Langat.
Yes.
Who is that person?
John Langat is married